Hey, thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners. Last week we were out of action with major technical issues, but we are back and running for this Saturday night. Albion Park 9 races. We kick off at 5:32 and it's a good program. The Open Paces race number 2. Can Manila Playboy go back-to-back? Well, we'll find out on Saturday night. The Mares Open, race number 6. Here we go with another clash between Chinchilla and Riley Rainbow. This time Chinchilla draws favourably. Riley Rainbow has to overcome gate number 7. It looks a good program. There's a few obvious ones there, but there's a few tricky races on Saturday night as well. So it's not going to be clear-cut in a lot of these races. In this edition of Weekend Winners, we are going to chat with Angus Garrard and Kelli Dawson. Angus Garrard jumps in the hot seat to go through his drives on Saturday night, and he's with us now. Angus, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris. Thanks for having me.
You've got some key drives here on Saturday night, and it starts in this opening race. You're going to partner R11 Art. You know this guy well. Importantly, he finally lands a draw. That was music to your ears, no doubt, earlier in the week.
Yeah, for sure. It's certainly his best draw for a while, so hopefully he's good enough to utilise it on Saturday.
He's just one of those horses that just seemed to get stuck in the system. Couldn't draw a gate. He was either drawing wide or second row, but here he is with gate 2. So how aggressive do you want to be at the start here with this good draw?
Oh, look, he certainly races best sort of on speed and when he's driven hard, and when he's sort of on song, he can control those sort of races. So we'll definitely punch out hard. I'd like to think we get to the fence, but if not, I'm probably more than happy to chair up anyway.
Okay. Kickerton along Pony. He's the horse drawn to your inside, gate 1. You know this horse well. Do you think he can hold you at the start?
Yeah, look, he probably has good enough speed to hold me. It's just, whether they want to absorb the pressure of us sort of eyeballing them through that middle section. So I guess we'll wait and see on Saturday night.
Okay. When you laid eyes on this race for the weekend, first thought, do you think that was very winnable for R11 Art?
Yeah, look, at his best, it's definitely winnable. He probably is just a horse that sometimes can be his own worst enemy. He can sort of switch off and cost himself. But, at his best, he's right up to it. I think he's proven he can race in this Saturday night grade at his best. And hopefully he turns up on Saturday night.
So how far off his best do you think he is right now?
Oh, look, I think it's there. It's just a matter of sort of whether he's mentally switched on. He's just a horse that from time to time can be a little tricky, but if mentally he's on the ball on Saturday night, he's going as good as ever, I think.
Okay, his performance on Tuesday, so he's backing up from Tuesday. He got back. That was the race Apollo Dreams won. It's almost like he lost sight of the lures, so hard to sort of gauge, but you look at him sectionally, he was as good as he can be.
Yeah, for sure. That race sort of certainly wasn't run to suit him. They sort of got a good breather through the second quarter and dashed pretty hard through the last half, and that's not really his go. So Saturday night from a better draw, right up on speed, that's sort of his cup of tea, and hopefully we can sort of turn it into a little bit of a staying contest, and hopefully he's on the ball.
Okay, well, that's a key drive there in the first with R11 Art. This is a key drive, race 2. This is the Open. Manila Playboy. How thrilled were you last time out when you combined with this guy to get that win? Because he was able to cut the mile himself. He was really good. The time was excellent. How satisfying was that?
Yeah, I was stoked, Chris. I think that's probably the best he's felt for a while. He's been racing really good the whole time, but he really felt like a killer there last time out. So that's sort of good timing leading into winter.
Was there any doubt about surrendering the lead, or that was the plan? There was just plan A and that was it. We're going for an all-the-way victory.
Oh, look, I hadn't thought about it too much. Just sort of the way the race was, it was sort of us, and then there were probably a few in the middle that we didn't want to let in front of us, and then, Jim RT and Whisper a Secret were drawn wide out that night, so it was probably a case of we had to lead initially and then see what happened, but I was pretty happy when I saw Whisper a Secret grab off the gate, and I was happy enough to control it.
Okay. The horse you beat there in that replay just watching was Tim's a Trooper, and he came out and won the Open last week. So the form line's been frank. This is a different setup altogether here on the weekend. It's a mile and you're drawn out in 6. Last time you had the inside draw. How does this play early? What do you want to do at the start? How much do you want to be involved at the start?
Yeah, look, there's a stack of speed inside us there, Chris. So it'll just be interesting to see what happens. I would like to think we can be positive and sort of at least give ourselves a shot of finding the fence. So if we can just sort of stride across that first little bit and then just see what's going on, I actually think it's probably a good spot where we've got options if we do have to try and tuck in as well. So I'm not going to sort of commit either way, but I'd like to think probably if Turn It Up was to lead, I'm sort of happy enough, whether he releases or whether we sit outside him, I'd be happy enough to be there.
Yeah, okay. But one thing's for certain, you're not going back.
No, I won't grab straight off the arm, that's for sure.
Yeah. Over a mile, it's almost impossible nowadays at this level, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They just get home too fast now. So unless they go absolutely ridiculous early, I'd like to think we'd be able to get forward.
Okay, so he can definitely go back to back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Race number 4, this is the band 5, Ragazzo Tilly. Now, he was first up last week. That was a strong race. That was the race Delio run and won. Your guy was awesome. Were you really pleased with that first up performance?
Yeah, I was wrapped in him, Chris. Sectionally, he probably couldn't have been any better. He did a little bit early. He was first over for a little while there. Admittedly, they weren't going overly fast, but I was wrapped with the way he found the line and the way he moved off cover around the turn.
Yeah, so that was just a perfect start point for this campaign?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. You've got to deal with Free Thinker, and he's got the favourable draw here on Saturday night, Gate 1. So how much pressure do you think this race will generate early? Like with Free Thinker, do you think they're going to sort of aim up early?
Oh, look, I probably don't think so, to be honest, Chris. I think he's probably got enough respect and he's probably shown enough gate speed to say that no one's going to have a really good look at him and open him up. So it probably makes it a little bit tricky for us from a second line draw from there, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens and see how the tempo is.
Yeah, that's not good news for you. You're probably hoping the harder the better.
Oh, absolutely. I probably would have liked Free Thinker to draw out wide with a couple of speedy ones inside him, but it hasn't panned out that way. So if we got to drive for a little bit of luck, just the way the race pans out, I'm happy with that.
Okay. Well, that's Ragazzo Tilly. What about in race 5? Here's another key drive for you, the Vicar of Dibley. Now, she's a good quality mare. She's a proven Menangle performer. She's a proven Albion Park performer. She's first up. She looked good in a recent trial. What are the expectations here on Saturday night?
I think she's really good, Chris. Her trial the other day was super sharp. We probably sort of, coming into that trial, we probably thought she may need another one, but she sort of showed she was sharp enough. She zipped up in 26 and a piece, and she was sort of not asked too hard with the plugs in. So after that, we were happy enough to go ahead and race her, and I think this looks quite suitable on Saturday.
Okay. All of your rivals have got race fitness. That's Delilah Rose you're running away from in there in that trial, and she performed well fresh up there last week. She's second up. The fact that all your rivals, though, have that fitness edge, how important is that with your chances with the Vicar of Dibley?
Oh, look, I'm not too concerned about it. As I said, her trial was quite good. I can't sort of see him going ridiculously fast in that, I probably couldn't see him sort of breaking 52 in this race, and I think she's right up to that. And as much as she'll probably sort of take great improvement out of this race, I don't think it's sort of, I wouldn't think condition would be an issue for her, put it that way.
Okay, so she's obviously trained on following the trial.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, it's good to see her back in action, the Vicar of Dibley. She's a good mare. What about in the Mares Open race 6? You've picked up the drive on Diamond Shoes. She's drawn barrier 1. Does that give her a top 3 hope here?
Yeah, for sure. She's a mare with good enough speed that, we can get out and probably be following Chinchilla, which is probably the one to follow. So, she should give herself every chance of earning some good money.
Yeah, the fence is going to be the spot to be here in this race, because with those high-quality mares, Chinchilla, Riley Rainbow engaged, they're going to be flying along. In particular, that last half, that's going to be rock solid.
Yeah, absolutely. You sort of no chance of coming off speed when when the races are set up like this. So she's got the perfect draw. Hopefully we can use it.
All right. What about race 7? This is going to be a challenge for you. Gate 10 for Almighty Max. Now, he was a recent winner. He's going really well, this horse, but this is a challenge, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's probably quite an even race across the board, Chris. You know, I thought his last start was probably career best. You know, sectionally he was unreal, and he's probably the only horse off the track that made good ground, and he really ran through the line. So I was stoked with him there. As you say, the draw's not ideal and it makes it tough, but we're probably going to be following probably the one horse that could take us into the race if it pans out that way. So, you know, maybe it'll work out.
Okay. Is it just a maturity thing with Almighty Max? He's just, you know, finally clicked, and he's, you know, physically strong now, and he's, you know, just handling the racing a whole lot better than what he was, say, 18 months ago?
Yeah, I think so. You know, he's just a whole lot more professional now. You know, Steve and Sharon have done a great job with him. They've sort of got him sorted now where he's quite a good little racehorse, and you can put him where he needs to be nowadays. So that's certainly a massive bonus.
Yeah, he's going well. What about this last race? I've got to ask. You had the choice here, Get Used to It or Sir Fahrenheit. You're going with Get Used to It. Is it difficult, this choice, which way to go in the trot?
Yeah, it's getting tougher all the time, to be honest, Chris. But, you know, I was stoked with Get Used to It last week. You know, he made that little break, but after that he felt awesome, and sectionally he was super. So, you know, probably the fact it's over the 2100 again, and we've sort of got that little bit of advantage on Sir Fahrenheit is probably why I chose to drive him. But, you know, he's racing super well. Okay,
if he gets away well and, you know, cleanly, if he finds the front here, Get Used to It, he can take this field all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Main dangers, Berries and Cherries. You raced her last week. She was really good. Her 2 runs so far have been excellent up here. Is she the obvious one here?
Yeah, I think so. It probably looks that way on paper. You know, it just depends how everyone sort of gets away. You know, obviously it'd be handy to find the front, but, you know, I think he showed last week, even after that little break, you know, he can be quite effective off cover. So I wouldn't be opposed to sort of driving him that way, especially sort of leading into some of the bigger races through winter. You know, I think he can be quite good off cover. So we'll just get away safe and see where we lob, and, you know, I think he can be hard to beat no matter what. All right, so we'll stick with him, Get Used to It. Which drive are you most looking forward to? I think Manila Playboy, he really excited me last start, and I think it looks a race that can sort of suit him again. Okay, race 2, number 6. Hey, really appreciate the time as always. We'll see you trackside Saturday night. No worries, thanks, Chris.
Kelli Dawson now joins us to go through her book of drives on Saturday night. She joins us now. Kelli, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris.
We start in race 1 with Barrett. Now, this race looks fairly open on paper, but is this a sticky draw for him, gate 3?
Yeah, it's not ideal for him. He's not really blessed with a lot of gate speed or a lot of ability, but he trialled well the other day, and he's always he's honest. So if we get a little bit of luck, maybe we could finish in the top 5.
Well, you keep persevering, so that means that you obviously think he's going to win another one in town. So maybe not this week, but we keep following.
Oh, maybe. Maybe it's just the staff seem to like him a little bit too much.
Oh, he's a bit of a pet, is he?
Apparently.
Okay, but just looking at it, you've got 2 of the main dangers drawn to your inside, Kick a Tin Along Pony, R11 Art. They are going to make it difficult just to try and find a spot, aren't they?
Yeah, it's very difficult for him there Saturday night. He, if he draws to sort of land handy and that, he'll earn a check, and sort of that's what keeps him around. But I don't think this week's going to be the one for him.
Okay, let's move across to race number 2, and I'm keen to get your thoughts here. This is the Open. You were down for both Send It and Turn It Up. Was it an easy choice?
Not really. I left that one into the hands of Shane. I do really like Send It, and he's probably one of my favourites, but Turn It Up, he's sort of an old warrior, and you don't get the chance to drive him very often. So, yeah, I think he lent that way.
Okay, so he's got a front row draw. Recent efforts have been good. This campaign, you know, tick, 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 everything's going along nicely. Can you lead this field? Do you want to lead this field?
Well, Shane keeps telling me how much gate speed he's got, so I guess it may be the only chance I've got to find out. So we'll hit the button and see what we can do.
Okay. In saying that, though, there is going to be some early burn here because Brados Lad, he wanted to get involved last week. He's got barrier 1. Deus Ex is normally a go forward and quick beginner as well. So it might be somewhat challenging there on Saturday night early.
Oh yeah, there is the potential to be a lot of speed. It is only the mile. I think that's his preferred distance. So we've got to give him a shot and see what he can do, see if he can live up to his old form again.
Okay, let me ask this question. If you do lead here, do you hold or do you hand? It is a mile, so which way are you leaning at this point?
I guess that's what we've got to weigh up at the time, like what we've done to get to the front as well. It's sort of one of those things. It could all change as soon as the gate goes, so it's probably going to be in the air, that one.
Okay. Are you happy with the way he's going this campaign?
Yeah, like there was probably one disappointing one early. That was probably our fault. He went for, sort of raced in 21 race straight up and probably did a little bit too much early. But yeah, he's sort of picked himself up the last few weeks and yeah, we are happy with him.
Okay. Key rivals here. Manila Playboy was good winning last time out. Tim's a Trooper won well last time out. But they're going to have to do something pretty special from their draws as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they will. But in saying that, it just depends what the ones inside of us do. If things go a little bit too hard early, it might open it up for horses like that. So it's really going to depend what happens in that first 100. And, you know, I guess nobody can sort of plan races like that. You sort of got a couple of stablemates there and you just don't know what the plan is.
Okay, so a real tactical affair, race number 2. What about in race 4? Keen to get your thoughts here. Mr. Reactor, now he's first up, he's trialled recently, but you're drawn behind the favourite in Free Thinker. Is this a perfect setup for him?
Yeah, it is. He trialled really well and he loves the fence. I do think it is.
Okay, so Free Thinker should have enough speed to lead. I wouldn't say it's a super fast front line. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, I think he should be able to hold up. That was my thoughts anyway.
Okay, and you're confident you can hold his back?
Yeah, I am. I think that's probably the one for the night that he's quite a bit of value in him at the moment. And yeah, I was really impressed with his trial. I know he can be a little bit hit and miss, but going off the trial, he should be right in that.
Yeah, he trialled against Classy Washington. They went a tick over 54. The last half was quick and he kept finding the line.
Yeah, he did. He felt good doing it also. I was really pleased with him. He sort of been a couple of weeks since that trial as well, which he does like. So, yeah, I think he's got his chance.
Okay, well, that's Mr. Reactor there in race number 4. And then you've got to hang around all night. The last race, the Stand Start Trot. This is a good race to end the card, though, because this has drawn together a strong field. Victory Hill. So this is going to be his 5th run back this campaign. Is he ready to produce his best?
Yeah, look, I think he's probably taken a couple of runs. He is a bit of a porky old bugger and he's sort of taken his time to get him right. But I think it's going to be tough, 30 metres over the 21. But if it's run right, like he's got a lot of speed when things go his way.
Yeah, and the fact too, it's a big field as well. So if it was a smaller field, that your chances obviously skyrocket. But given that you're going to have a fair bit of traffic, it does make it challenging.
Oh yeah, it is. You know, they're hard trying to make up 30 metres for them, you know, the horses off the front and 10 and, you know, like they're going to be running the whole way. It's hard going, but he is pretty honest and I think he should be better this week again.
Okay, whatever he does on the weekend, we keep following?
Oh, yeah, I don't think you can ever ride him out. He's just one of them old horses that he'll hit his form again. He'll be right.
Okay, so you've got some interesting drives there on the weekend. Which one are you most looking forward to?
Oh, look, there are a bunch of old horses that all look quite nice to drive, but I think probably Mr. Reactor. I think he's, yeah, I'm interested to see how he goes.
Okay, race 4, number 8, it is Mr. Reactor. Hopefully he's right on the back of the favourite there, Free Thinker. Hey, Kelly, as always, appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
Thanks, Chris.
As always, a big thanks to our 2 drivers this week, Angus, Garrard, Kelli, Dawson, sharing their insights ahead of Saturday night, and we wish both drivers the very best of luck. Time now to find a good thing or two for the card. I think it's fairly difficult. There's a few shorties. I think Chinchilla's going to be short. Free Thinker's going to be short. few other races look tricky. I think the best gamble at this point, you've got to be patient though. Race 9, Horse 7, Berries and Cherries. The trot, this is a standing start race as well. This former Victorian, both runs so far have been excellent. A first up winner from the tapes in the Trotters Marathon last week, lost no admirers with a gallon second behind the in-form mare in Golden Sunset. I think she can win here on Saturday night, but like I said, you've got to be patient. Race 9, number 7, Berries and Cherries, marking her as the best bet on the program. If you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly. 9 races, good balanced card. The first of 9 getting underway at 5:32. We'll see you trackside at the Creek this weekend.